first topic of tonight, first video I think I've recorded today, or maybe I don't remember earlier today, also highly likely. So topic for tonight actually should withstand the test of time, hopefully, if I do this reasonably well. We need to talk about the Capstone law paper that is required for all special education minors, as well as students who are taking courses within the special education course sequence who are not currently minoring in special education, but need to demonstrate mastery of content, as well as in the future, beginning with freshmen next year, all students will be taking SPED 2400, SPED 3120, and SPED 3200, which is currently SPED 3000, regardless of whether they choose to take the additional 2 special education classes to license in the area. So those students will also be completing the research papers that make up a large part of the final capstone research and law paper for special education. So that's a little bit of the context regarding why you're hearing about this right now. As part of the accreditation expectations for our program at AU, in special education specifically, we have to prove that you know the content regarding the CEC, or Council for Exceptional Children, standards that guide all pre-service, in-service educators, administrators in the field. So we chose to demonstrate that. The assessment we chose to demonstrate that was to not collect just your course grades and say, hey, good to know they all got A's, B's, C's, whatever. That was the way it had been done in the past in this program, and it is the way that some programs choose to demonstrate your degree of content knowledge mastery. But we decided that it was more important to us and to our entire program for you to be able to write a quality research and law-based paper in each of your courses that you take as part of the sequence, that when taken together at the end of your special education course sequence would create what we are calling the Capstone research and law paper. That paper and the results of everyone who writes all of the papers for each section of the Capstone full paper, that assessment data is collected and aggregated into cohort groups, as you might call them, where we look at all the individuals who complete the final special education course in the sequence, currently SPED 3000, but it is now SPED 3200 moving forward. And we look at that group, whoever has completed that class all together, where the final section of the paper, final sections of the paper are written, and we say, how did they score on the rubric as a group on each rubric row for the entire program sequence full of papers, and where are areas of strength, where are areas of weakness, what are things that we can do as a program to look back and modify curriculum, modify our instruction, shift the paper around to make content that's covered in a particular class align more closely to the assessments, and vice versa, making sure that the assessment itself is actually measuring what we intended to teach as well as what we actually taught, because there are some times where there are gaps in instruction that students should not be held accountable for. It's where we maybe have not covered all of our bases that we need to, so you can be successful on a task. So the big picture of the relevance of this task and the use of it is that, again, you are part of a program that is fully accredited by what is called CAPE. That's the unit-wide program level accreditation that we have. And I believe that's the Council for the Accreditation of Educator Preparation Programs, or educator preparation maybe. But the special education program itself is nationally recognized by the Council for Exceptional Children, and we want to maintain that. We recently submitted our specialty skill area program report for national review, and the results of the first 2 cohort groups to complete the entire special education research and law paper, their data was submitted, is aggregated, submitted, and we wrote a report that said, here's what students did well, and here's what they could improve upon, and here is how we are going to ensure that that happens. So what you will be hearing in the next video is a little bit about the paper itself and how the task and the instructions for the task and the rubric are divided, and how to approach the task when you complete it for each of your courses. And I think it should help you not only understand what the end game is for each, but it should also help you to connect your English coursework and your professional coursework in the education program with the tasks that you're completing and why it is so important to know and understand the law in education, and particularly in special education for these assessment pieces. So thanks for listening. Next section will be details regarding task instructions and the rubric for the Capstone research and law papers.